Wait for it. You'll like this. Hey, look at them go. This is a demo of Creatures 2, done by Apex Computer Productions, John and Steve Rowlands. They did a lot of stuff towards the end of the 64's life. Really nice technically, graphics great, sounds great, presentations smashing. You could argue that that led to their stuff being a bit overrated, but it's all fairly solid stuff. Anyway, this is one of the mini games pulled from Creatures 2. Just a very simple bounce your guys from one end to the other game. Fairly sure back in the day I had one of those cheap and nasty LCD handheld games that did exactly the same thing. That dude at the top will grab your guy and return him to the start if he manages to nab him. Anyway, just a nice silly little bonus game to be honest. The fact that you have to do it about 15 times on the chart means that the main problem is not losing concentration. I've never managed to pick up those coins. Anyway, the thing about the Creatures games was their juxtaposition of cute little guys bouncing around. Hey, there we go. Yes, the juxtaposition of cute little fuzzy things and copious amounts of blood and guts when you screw up. Anyway, here's the ending. And this is Head the Ball, a game by Hewson, who'd just recently gone bust, which is why a lot of their games turn up on a bunch of these early cover tapes. They're also on that Commodore 64 and a joystick thing that did the rounds a few years back, so obviously whoever ended up with the rights has gone ballistic trying to milk it for all it's worth. As ever, our girlfriend, who has to have a bow, has been stolen. We have to get her back. And we get her back by ineffectually bouncing around very awkwardly. Yes, timing is crucial in this. You do have some weapons. You have 10 shots, a couple of bombs and a shield, and that's it. There doesn't appear to be any way to refill them. So judging when you should use some weapons and when you should save them for later is just pretty much a memory test as to where the tricky parts of the game are. Also, as you can see, your shots are somewhat ineffective. Come on, bounce, bounce, bounce. Oh yes. There we go. Nope, tactical error. There are checkpoints, fortunately, they're rather few and far between now. And I got caught on that rim there, great. Anyway, sod it. Deploy the shield. Oh, what? That never hit me. Choose our path. Back to the start? Except it clearly isn't. Whatever. This is by far the weakest of this month's games. Here's an oddity. There were 2 tapes this month, one of which had the Graphics Adventure creator on it. Not the sort of point-and-click adventure games you might expect from the name these days, but a text adventure creator but with added graphics. The graphics are stored in a sort of vector format, all sort of lines and fills and things, rather than straight bitmaps. Anyway, this is Ransom, the example text adventure that comes with it. We've successfully solved one problem by lighting a lamp, and as every schoolboy knows, the true judge of whether an adventure game is any good or not is, can you swear at it and will it respond? Is that the generic response? Yes, it is. Can we kill ourselves? No, we can't. Rubbish. And on to the second Hewson game for this month. This is Mission Impossibubble. Do you see? Great start. Yeah, this is a sort of another great start. This is a sort of isometric Pac-Man. And you can see the biggest flaw here is until you upgrade your weapon by picking up those mushrooms, you are a sitting duck because enemies can spawn right in front of you with very little warning. Anyway, the objective of this is to get 8 pieces of scroll. There's a slight problem in this though, in that you have to get the 8 pieces of scroll in the correct order. If you pick one up, can I escape this guy? Yes, thankfully the AI is not the best. Yes, you have to pick up the 8 pieces of scroll in the... oh dear. The 8 pieces of scroll in correct order. And if you don't get to the order correct, you will just wander over them with no great effect. There is, if you look very carefully at the bottom right there is a sort of scanner that points you in the correct direction. I didn't clock this at the time because the colour of the arrow pointing where you need to go is not very easy to distinguish. See, I just wander over that one without picking it up at all. I'm sure this level actually sort of spells something out with its map, but I've been unable to find any sort of map that will show you this. So this becomes little more than a teleporter maze once you've once you've managed to upgrade your weapon a bit. And if we manage to pick up all 8 pieces, we can then rescue our tiny bubble child thing located at the upper right there. No, so I need to teleport my way all the way back and try and figure out which order I need to pick them up in. Nope. Nope, which I would have not bothered to get them at all if I'd noticed the scanner, the arrow pointing to the left at the bottom there. It's also kind of difficult because it does a sort of jerking from square to square based movement. You can't turn around on the spot, which doesn't help matters. Right, great, good. Now we're sorted. Ta-da! And now we have to take him all the way back to the start. Nearly there. What? Game Revo? Oh, right, I see what you're doing there. Yeah, I ran out of time. Thanks. Still, at least it's a great deal better than Head the Bull was. And finally, First Samurai, a game whose entire name comes about as a piss take of the old Last Ninja games. Bet you didn't know they did this for the 64. Anyway, with this being the playable demo, it's actually uncompletable. What you're meant to do is pick up a bunch of logs, take them all the way over to a waterfall to the right of the game. Ah, you can kick down. There we go. Come on, kick down. Thank you. Yes, pick up a bunch of logs, take them over to the right-hand edge of the playing screen, where you can use them to cross a waterfall and beat the final boss. Or the level boss, sorry. However, with this being the demo, there aren't enough logs in the game, in the map, to actually do that, rendering the whole thing a bit pointless. There's little more to do than wander around looking at how pretty it is, which it is. Something I didn't clock until I watched somebody else do a playthrough of this is that there's actually only ever 4 enemies on screen at the same time. So if you're feeling particularly clever, you can actually farm them and sort of keep weaker enemies on screen at the same time, so that the more troublesome ones in different areas can't spawn. There we go, there's one of the logs we have to pick up. Anyway, like I say, this is all fairly pointless in the big scheme of things. And really, if you're going to play First Samurai, you should really play the 16-bit versions, because they have the most overblown and hilarious sound effects I've ever heard in a game at all. Like this!
Yeah.